wear your unforgiveness bag. Every time a husband hurts her, you cheated on her. Look at it. Look at that. You forgot her birthday. That's a big thing. You forgot to call at work. Small, but it's also important. Then this one, you forgot your wedding anniversary. Very hard. You lied to her. You were at work. We were busy watching football. That's them. You promised her a date and you didn't take her out. So this lady, is she just trying to be angry? To be hurt? So this is her hurt back. Walk. 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 Go. Why are you slower? Yeah, that's good. Run towards me. Huh? Why are you running and say, why? Because the unforgiveness she's carrying is beginning to affect her. Guess what? The man that did all the things is here and nothing is happening to him. When you have unforgiveness, who suffer? The one that causes or the one that carries it? Is it taking a toll on you? The weight, is it taking a toll on you? Yeah. Is that what you do? You go every day of your life carrying unforgiveness. You go from office to home, from home to job, from this to that. Come on. You carry unforgiveness. You keep carrying unforgiveness. Look at her. She's carrying unforgiveness. And when you come to that relationship, you carry what? Unforgiveness. And you know the worst thing? Because these things are fruits, they'll begin to spoil and they'll begin to smell. And no wonder you have a stinking attitude. No wonder you have a depressing mood, because the unforgiveness has begun to decompose in your life. You meet this guy that loves you, and they were like, why are you like this? You say, how am I? Because the longer he stays on you, the more you don't remember you're carrying something. Have you seen people that are angry without cause? People that are defensive, people that are always angry, people that are agitated, and it's the unforgiveness they've carried from their past into their present that's now creating a terrible future for them. And all you can do today is to take off the unforgiveness. This is weights, and you can be free again.
Now, guys, as usual, this is not me against the speaker. I am against the ideology. I am correcting it. I'm just here to somebody have to be bringing a balance to these messages from the pulpit in Christianity. If not, we are going to do ourselves so much harm from this. Now, I want you to understand that I understand what the pastor is trying to explain from this. From a Christian point of view, I understand in teaching forgiveness and unforgiveness. But here is it. The analogy used is wrong in every sense as pertaining the message. Because when we use an analogy to explain something, we are saying the thing is like this thing, is it not? So the analogy used betrays the core of the message. What he's trying to talk about is, in the course of forgiveness and unforgiveness, that the person who refuses to forgive is the one with the hurt, with the body, and not the offender. Just like what we used to say, that unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. But you see, the analogy used is wrong. Because that analogy now is just making married men to keep on being toxic, being lackadaisic, being emotionally absent and unavailable, being selfish and wicked, and not being concerned of their other. And you see all of those attributes and character traits that I mentioned, they are against the fruit of the Spirit. They are against biblical standard of marriage. So the analogy is wrong. There are better types of analogy to use to not marriage, not in a marriage or relationship matter. Because in all of this explanation now, he did not address the man. That you that is making this woman feel this message could have just been, this analogy would be that you as a man making this woman feel this is going to affect you. Apostle Paul said in Ephesians that a man should love his wife like his own self, because he that hated his wife hated himself. Meaning that as you are doing all of these things, you are making this woman back filled with so much hurt. Do you see the way she was walking slowly? It's going to see affect you in the marriage. So the analogy is not right. The analogy is not right. I don't know how to beg men. Pastors, please. Whenever you are teaching topics that are marriage related, try your best to not overstretch it, because you are not a woman, and you people will never understand the life of a woman. You will never understand. You people have not even understand your own life. Not to talk about understanding a woman's life. A woman can be able to understand a man's life because we as a human being, we are already trained to be, in our perspective, we can handle it. So you men are the ones that are supposed to be working on yourself, so that some of you men are not even aware of your core situations and problems. Not to talk of a woman. So when you talk about women, you're always talking about them from your selfish and patriarchal and misogynistic perspective. You're not looking at it from a place of equilibrium, balance. This analogy, like I said, I understand the core of the message, but the analogy betrays the message. You cannot keep hurting a woman as a man. But Ephesians chapter 5, love your wife like Christ loved the church. Like Christ loved the church, that he could give himself for her. That is a selfless love, sacrificial love. You cannot be practicing that kind of love as a man and be deliberately doing this to the wife that is married to you. When will you start teaching men what Christ love means? Because none of you pastors, I'm sorry to make this bold statement, but majority of these pastors, none of you have been able to go to the drawboard to understand in core what Christ love means and be able to understand. Because you cannot teach more than you know. Because people don't know what Christ love means as a husband in marriage, so you can't teach about it. You can't talk about it. You people come in with your cultural and traditional baggages and repent, but you don't throw those things away. You tag along with it and oppress the women in marriages. Still use those sermons to preach on the pulpit. When when I don't understand women. Nobody is coming to save us. Can you people stop? When you listen to messages like this, can you be able to at least react? These are not sane messages. Christianity is equality. There is no balance in this message. I understand the message, but the analogy betrays the message. You can't use analogy like this to explain forgiveness and unforgiveness. Marriage, biblical marriage is partnership. It's not hierarchy and slavery. We can't, as Christians or as biblical people that say, okay, we read the Bible, we can't be doing marriage like traditional and cultural people. Then what is the difference? If they bring out a Christian man now and they bring out a man that is not a Christian, bring out you, the both of you, the way you treat your wife, there is no difference. Then what is the Bible say we are the salt of the earth, we are the light of the earth. Well, how are you a salt? How are you a light in terms of marriage and marital issues? How? You should leave marriage topics that involve women for now. You men are understudied. You are only studying about women. Yourself as an entity, you are understudied. Go and make further studies on you people as a man. Then you'll be able to understand because you have not made your research on these things. When people like us talk, you look at, I am proudly a Christian, proudly pro-kingdom. But when people like us talk, it looks like maybe we are trying to sow ties or disobedience. But no, I am bringing a balance. We have to be bringing a balance. The decadence in the society is too much. It is too much. Married women are now recognizing, some of the wise women are now recognizing, this doesn't pay. Check most of the broken homes, Christian homes. So if we want to continue like this, we only get worse. As a Christian, you don't have to only preach the gospel by only biblical verses or your lifestyle should be able to preach the gospel. People should look at the way your marriage, the way you treat your wife as a man, and be like, the wife will be like, oh no, my husband must be a Christian. For the way these are the things, it's not the way you can make these things look like. Because whenever you talk about marriage, you are reaffirming hierarchy. You are reaffirming superiority, that one person is above, and that is tradition, that is culture, that is not biblical. Biblical marriage is called equality. Galatians 3:28, there are neither Greek nor Gentiles, neither slave nor free, neither male nor female. We are all one. It just explains that there is no classism when it comes to God. When we're talking about God affairs, God does not do things in classism. Everybody is equal. The way he looks at the poor is how he looks at the rich. The way he looks at who is from Nigeria is how he looks at who is from another country entirely. The way he looks at a man is how he looks at a woman. But when it comes to marriage, there are roles. It's just like a mother. Those of us, when you are growing up, you can understand. Maybe your mother is going out, she will distribute to say, you know, you are the eldest daughter. You'll be the one to sweep this whole place. Then your youngest sister, she'll be the one to go and fetch water. She will just share it. That biblical is role. And the role that the Bible gives to a man is to love like Christ loved the church, that he could give. That is sacrificial. That is selfless. Selfless. Meaning your self nature has to drop. How many pastors have studied about how to drop their self nature, their selfish nature in marriage, and pick up the nature of Christ's love? When Bible say you are head, it doesn't talk about hierarchy. That will be the Bible contradicting itself. Head means roles, responsibility, the weight. A more weight is shouldered on you as a man. That is the reason why you have to be selfless. Because if you are not selfless, because more weight is shouldered on you, your selfish nature will perverse the whole thing. I understand pastors, it's not easy doing pastoral jobs, but we have to be bringing a balance so that we will not end up finding ourselves in situations that it will look as if we are contradicting who God is. Dear Christian women, it's okay to be a Christian woman. I know the times we are, especially on social media, is difficult, but it's very much okay for you to be a Christian woman. But my loving advice to you will be that you should make sure you know who you marry, because these men are undertaught. But I fear for you marrying men that schooled under this church settings. Did you see the way that guy was like? Did you see that gesticulation he made? Because the church have failed in raising men. The church have only been raising women. They have failed in grooming men. There is no Christian man, even 9 out of 10 of a Christian man do not even understand what Christ's love means. They do not understand the core characteristics or traits of Christ's love. If their pastors do not understand, is it them that we understand? I don't know if you understand. So they are failed in grooming men. They are failed in teaching men. And you do not, from this example, you cannot explain that for a man to be able to cause you this much pain. I came to you without a bag. I started relationship with you with a plain heart. You kept on doing things that made me offended, made me hurt, to the point that I not even have, I'm using this illustration, this analogy, a bag of unforgiveness. And I'm walking slowly, meaning it's not affecting my life. You are not even concerned as a husband to care and say, okay, let me help you unpack this bag by taking responsibility of my offenses and by doing better. No, you are there, you allowed it. I'm using this analogy. You allowed it to get stinky, get rotten. And you are a man practicing Christ's love, Christ-like love. The advice I'll give that if you're a Christian woman and you find yourself in a setting where a man is giving you reasons to have unforgiveness back, drop the bag of unforgiveness and leave the man. Leave the two of them, drop it and leave the man. Go elsewhere with your life. Because if you leave only the man and you carry that bag of unforgiveness, you will only be affecting your life. So drop the bag of unforgiveness and leave the man aside. Because if you still stick to the man, you will still get another bag of unforgiveness. The church have failed. These pastors have failed in grooming men because why? They themselves are not groomed. Because you cannot give what you don't have. You can't teach what you don't know. Because these pastors are not groomed to understand Christ-like love and give it out as a lifestyle. They can't teach about it because this is what they know. So from all of the illustration and example, you can be able to understand how they relate with their wives at home. So you will understand that even their wives are in toxic marriages. They only spiritualize everything and make it look like everything is normal. Then imagine going to such a wife for marriage counseling. She will feed you from a bucket of toxicity that her husband have been giving to her. I don't know if I'm making any sense to you. So this is me calling a balance. Analogies like this should be used with balance. When you did you see the way the messages elevated the men and brought the women down, meaning that it's not reaffirming that as a man you can do whatever you are. There's no accountability, no responsibility or consequence of action. You are not bringing division, making one above the other one down. No, you have to be able to bring any man that can cause you that much pain is not practicing Christ-like love. Any man that can cause you that much pain is not a believer. You are seeing the world, you're still practicing culture and tradition. Make it make sense. And a woman was being used for the example. People are there laughing, people are there clapping. Can we understand? Can you be able to understand depth? Do you go back to listening to these messages and know what is doing to your psychic? Do you do that? These pastors preach. They preach in such a way that they elevate men against consequence of action and leave consequence of action for women. Even in the Bible, when Adam and Eve fell, everybody involved in the sin got a consequence. Everybody. But when these pastors are preaching, I don't know, they deliberately elevate men against consequence. That is why as a Christian woman, you have to be very careful. Not all Christian men, because some men, but they are very few. That's why I say 9 out of a 10. 9 out of a 10, this is what they are being taught in church. So you cannot expect anything special or unique from them. It's talking that if another man comes that loves you, do a Christian man understand what is love? They don't even understand love. Don't talk of Christ type of love. They don't understand because their pastors tutoring them, their mentors tutoring them, do not even understand. You should leave women alone. Start talking about men. Groom men. It takes two to tango. It takes two to tango. It's not only women that are in the marriage, men too are in this marriage. Groom them so that you can't groom women and leave men ungroomed. Then they go with their bad attitude, their ill-mannered and irresponsible self, and start stressing the life of a poor woman that just choose to say I do to them, and you want to mess up their mental life and everything about them. It's not done. It's biblically incorrect too. You can't use analogies like this and exempt a man. The man causing that unforgiveness in the woman, what should happen to him? So you see that this your analogy is not correct for teaching unforgiveness and forgiveness. It is not correct. It is not correct. Your marriage cannot last using this because as a woman, it only makes you more depressed. So my advice for you, leave the unforgiveness back and leave the man. Your life should be better off married. 2 heads are better than one. 2 good heads, not just 2 heads. So your life should be better off being married than when you are single. But if I can't be single and I have peace of mind, I have everything okay, my brain I can reason, then I get married to you, are stressing me up and down. When I was coming to, did I come with bag of unforgiveness? Is it not your consistent behavior that brought out the bag of unforgiveness? And then these women try to talk to you. They say, "Don't talk, sweep it under the carpet. Don't talk, sweep it under the carpet." What do you people want? Do you want to kill women? Do you want to? Are you just bent on subjugating women? Is that what is there? Show me where the Bible says you should subjugate a woman. Show me. So in a nutshell, guy, unforgiveness truly, the Bible is against unforgiveness. So unforgiveness hurts you who is holding on to it. The person who is offending you will have its own consequence. But you holding on to unforgiveness on its own has its own effect on you. But when it comes to my issue with these analogies, that you cannot use this kind of analogy to express a marriage relationship. For every effect, there is a cause. There's no reaction without an action. So the man causing this thing to the woman, what should be done to him? That is my problem. So messages like this, analogy like this, it is what wrong. God help us.